A big piece of news that came in yesterday evening. I just thought we should discuss it right away. That's on Byju's.
Ouch.
Huge piece of news on Byju's. That board advisory committee that was meant to be formed. Some big names on that board advisory committee.
Rajnish Kumar, Mohandas Pai, no less. Yeah, we are talking about big names this morning.
Big names from Byju's. But talk to us, about these appointments, Karthik. What were the thoughts that came into your mind as you were going through that piece of news?
So, Krishna, this has been in the works for a while, and if you remember earlier on our shows also we've spoken about this, that Byju Raveendran has been, trying to portray an image that he wants to do a very, very solid course correction. I think somewhere deep down he knows for a fact that yes, we have goofed up. We have messed up and we haven't really lived up to the expectations of our customers, expectations of our investors, and overall expectations of the brand Byju's. So I think we have now arrived at a point where Byju Raveendran has very, very categorically arrived at this decision that some course correction is due, and that course correction by way of inducting more board members on the seats of Byju's has now come by way of existing investor Mohandas Pai taking a seat on the board, and in addition to that Rajnish Kumar, former chairman of SBI, India's largest lender. So I think it adds that gravitas to the board of Byju's, and Byju's had seen the exit of board seats from the likes of Sequoia Capital and Chang Investments, and in general, a lot of rancor around the board members exiting, quitting. Now, I think the Raveendran family has decided that it is not going to be just family members occupying those board seats. So it is definitely course correction to begin with. Having marquee names like Mohandas Pai and Rajnish Kumar pretty much send out a very clear signal that we take our corporate governance seriously. We take our business seriously. We take our recovery seriously. And we are in the business for the long haul. We are not fly-by-night operators. We are not going to shut down business, pack up, declare defeat, and just walk out of that door. We are here for the long run. We are here for good, and we want to make this course correction. And that is the message which is loud and clear with the appointment of existing investor, which is Mohandas Pai himself, who has stayed invested in Byju's, and Rajnish Kumar himself.
That's the more fascinating part, if you ask me, Karthik. Somebody who's invested, and has seen what Byju's has been through. Amit, Mohandas Pai, I'm sure, has been watching all the headlines from Byju's, the wrong kinds of headlines, coming up from Byju's, and now he's in the board advisory committee, along with another veteran from the banking industry like Rajnish. Talk to us. What is the way forward for Byju's from here on?
Rajnish Kumar, at least I can say, has had a history of basically correcting corporate governance issues in companies. He did that with BharatPe before this. So in this matter, he's a veteran. Mohandas Pai, everybody knows about him. He was at Infosys. I'm just repeating the information, and it is only good news even for brand Byju. As Karthik said, they have made it clear to the market that they mean business when it comes to course correction, and they are hiring names with repute, who have repute even in correcting these kinds of matters on board.
Right, Karthik, and now that this board advisory committee is getting formed as quickly as they promised to. Technically, it was supposed to be done in a month's time, and then
it's done in a week's time.
It's done in a week's time. So things are moving at a hectic pace. And from now on, all I can think of right now is that Byju's has to file those audited financial statements. So at the earliest.
Yeah, so I think the dates have been released by them. They're saying definitely by 30th September, the financial reporting for financial year FY22 would be through by 30th of September.
Right.
And by 31st of December, the financials for FY23 last year would also be submitted for audit. So yes, I think the challenge that really Byju's faced itself with, some by default, some perhaps by design, was the fact that it was a company that was running at breakneck speed. It was a company that thought that, hey, I am among the most valuable companies in the country. I have the backing of investors. I have investors with very deep pockets. Nothing can go wrong. Let me just do this marathon as a sprint. And let me just try and do everything I can, which I may not have even laid a proper strategic roadmap for. Let me try and cover those milestones as quickly as possible. And I think that is what happened with the acquisition of White Hat Junior. That is what happened with the acquisition of Akash. So it stayed not just focused on its core online education business, but also diversified into coding, also diversified into traditional brick and mortar tuition centers, and made these investments and wanted all these investments to start doing well. Akash continued to do well. In fact, is doing better after the acquisition by Byju's. But White Hat Junior has pretty much, collapsed, and there aren't fresh takers. So what really happened was that they wanted to go really fast. They wanted to run really fast in their business and lost sight of the core of what their business is, lost sight of what the brand Byju stands for, lost sight of very, very basic issues around corporate governance, around not servicing, your customers very well, not, not submitting your financials for auditing for the mandated reporting purposes. And in general, it just seemed that in their race to continue growing, they lost sight of the very, very finer details of running a sustainable business.
Right, but Amit, you wouldn't at this stage, with the way things are going at Byju's right now, suspect, it would be difficult to suspect malice at this stage, because they did promise a board advisory committee. They're going on with it. They have clear timelines of how they want to fix what has been wrong so far. So at this stage, I would say all those suspicions of deliberate malice, deliberate malice, or willful wrongdoing, as it's called, are difficult to agree to.
I don't think anybody would have any suspicions going forward. And I believe if, with the way things there are moving, even the IPO that they had planned for Akash Byju's, they will basically go through with it in the times to come, after the audits are done and everything is in place. So all the suspicions that even we had, I think so those will be laid to rest in the times to come, at least with the way things are going right now.
So we can hope for a resolution in the matter soon. Another thing that we are also hoping for, along with the resolution in the edtech sector, because Karthik, it's not just about Byju's; it's about the entire edtech sector. And Byju's, is a huge, has a huge say in the matter of India's edtech play per se going forward. So we're all hoping that all that's gone wrong can be fixed at the earliest, and then we can move on and make use of the edtech opportunity, because there's education that needs to be reached to so many remote areas in India, and edtech could just be that could be filling that gap, that missing link.
I think that will have to be the fourth line of business for Byju's. If Byju's really wants to deploy whatever technology and investments it has done in creating these curricula, in creating these course materials and the whole disbursement mechanism, then the price point will have to be looked at. Because at one point, I remember at the start of the pandemic, Krishna, I had the opportunity of speaking to Divya Gokulnath, and we were trying to understand from her what kind of a fillip the COVID pandemic is going to give to edtech, and at the same time trying to understand from her that is this going to be an opportunity only for the urban elite who have a laptop, who have a broadband connection in their homes, and is the divide, the digital divide when it comes to education, only going to widen when it comes to the difference between the haves and the have-nots. And her sort of assurance to me back then, I'm talking technically April, May 2020, right, 3 years ago, her assurance to me was that no, Byju's is going to stand for bridging that digital divide and stand for making courses cheaper, more affordable, mobile friendly for the not have too much of of the section of the population. But I haven't seen that roll out yet. Okay. I think courses continue to be expensive. Cross-selling of laptops and tablets and additional courses, the
paraphernalia.
Of course, the paraphernalia, all in this race to maximize revenue, keep your existing clients with you, diversify their holdings with you, sort of led to this mess that Byju's finds itself in. And now that schools have reopened and the real edtech opportunity for the urban, for the haves, is behind us, I think the time to attack the rural segment of the population, the more interior segment, tier 3, tier 4 cities of the population, that is the opportunity that Byju's needs to play on.